Hello, 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 hello. I'm going to let you guys come in. I know I haven't talked to y'all in I don't know how long. It's been what, about a week and a half, week? I'm not sure, but my sincerest apologies. My sincerest apologies. I have been busy, and then Sunday, of course, was what everybody celebrates is Christmas or what have you. But that's neither here nor there. I knew that nobody was going to come out on the live on Sunday, so I didn't bother coming out. And I'm going to be doing Sunday teaching today. And I'm just going to give you a kind of a new lineup of things that I'm going to be trying to do. One of the things I realized, and I'm just kind of giving some small talk as you guys come in. One of the things I realized that I have to do, one is I definitely have to make sure that I'm a little bit more consistent with going live. Typically, I go live on Sundays and Wednesdays, but I do want to be a little bit more consistent. Not only do I want to be more consistent, but a little bit more intentional. So one of the things I've been thinking, or one of the things I feel like I'm going to start doing is on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, I'm going to be doing more lessons like this one. Sundays it'd be more of a biblical lesson or what have you. But on Wednesdays, I'm thinking to do more like news or what have you, because we got a lot of crazy stuff going on or what have you. I don't know what's going on. It just looks weird to me. That's another thing that I've made it up in my mind to do. And these are not New Year's resolutions. These are things that I'm like, let me get this stuff together. I have two cameras. I bought a camera, and I bought that camera, the one that my pastor recommended, and I never got it to. And I had Geek Squad come out, and they couldn't get it to work. They told me it's supposed to be in the shop or what have you. Brother Andre, love you, thank you, thank you. And then I have a Sony. What is that Sony? I don't know. But anyhow, it's the latest Sony. I have that camera. I've had it for a minute. I don't know if it's the latest, but it's a pretty good Sony camera. And I'm saying that to say I'm going to change this camera here. It's way past time for me to stop using this particular camera and use a better camera. It is way past time. All right, I had to be careful because I don't have any notes for this teaching, and I'm just looking at the notes I just got through teaching my students. Just did Esther Prep University, and we were talking about rejection. We just did our course on rejection. But oh, no problem. But I did, yeah, I did respond to you. I knew it wasn't you, Brother Andre. I knew it wasn't you because I got that same message from somebody else or what have you. But yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. All right. I love y'all. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Believe it or not, this news is a year old, but I'm just not hearing about it, and they're just not reporting it. So most of the articles I'm finding about it are written this month or what have you. So I saw it, like I said, on Wednesdays from this point on. And, this is Sunday's teaching, so I'm going to likely come back out on tomorrow and teach again. If not tomorrow, sometime this week, Thursday or Friday. I think it's going to be more like Thursday or Friday. I like to put a little bit of space between the lessons. And like I said, I'm going to be doing more teachings. I'm going to try to put out more messages that are like maybe like 10 minutes and 15 minutes. Also, I got to talk some noise to y'all. Can I talk some noise to y'all for a minute? Can I talk some noise to y'all for a minute? Y'all, I posted a song up that I written, hired somebody to sing, and y'all didn't come out and view the song. Y'all, I'm just sitting there. I go log in. I'm like, let me see did they check out. And y'all, I got so many of them that I gotta post. I got so many of them. So please make sure you're supporting. Just come listen to it, okay? At minimum, you ain't got to do nothing else. I would love for you to buy it. But even if you don't buy it, just come listen to the song. Come listen to the song. I was excited about posting it up. I was a little disappointed when I said, yeah, it's on my page. It's on my page. But I was a little disappointed when I saw the numbers. I was like, okay. I went offline one day, came back on the next day. It was like 200 and more people had listened. I said, the Saints, y'all got to learn to be more supportive. It's on my YouTube. It's on my page. What is the name of that song? I got so many songs out. I think it's one of my Forever Abba. No, it's not a Forever Abba. I don't even know. I don't want to close this page out, but it's on my page. It's on my page, and it's a part of a project that I'm working on called The Experiment. I just did the Experiment card game, but it's a part of a project called The Experiment. It's going to blow your mind. So check the song out because you're going to start noticing some things. Trust me, it's going to blow your mind. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. I want to read this article, and it is on NBCmiami.com. And y'all know that BBLs are blowing up these days. Everybody wants to get a BBL, and everybody, the thing about a BBL, most of us don't want the discipline. The thing about a BBL, you mean to tell me I can go to a doctor and they can take this fat out of the stomach where I don't want it to be at, and they can transfer it to the back where I prefer it to be at. And then now when I put on clothes, the clothes look better. Not only that, when I'm walking out, dudes are checking me out. That's the allure of it, because people think, and y'all got to hear me when I say this, people think that by doing a BBL, that's going to heal their rejection issues. That means that more people are going to want me. Typically, and I hate to say this, not only response to culture, but a lot of things we do is a response to exes. We can talk about it. It's a response to having been rejected before. It's a response to, if I gave this dude my best, I gave him my all, and that wasn't good enough, it made me feel like I'm not worthy. That's a lie. That's a lie. When you're with a person, if that person is not content within themselves, they won't be content with you. There is literally nothing you can do. You can be in a relationship with a person. You can be faithful, good. You can be, I'm talking about supportive, always cheering them on. I'm talking about dude can look at you and tell you, I love being married to you. Y'all know I've been married 2 times. Y'all know I've been married 2 times, right? Y'all know that. Now, at the same time, I was a baby in Christ both times, but y'all know I was married 2 times. You know what they told me? Both of those dudes told me, I love being married to you. Oh, I love being married. Oh my goodness, this marriage life is beautiful. That didn't stop in the first year. It didn't stop in the first year. You know why? Because I continued to be a good woman. Being good is not good enough for the wrong person. And obviously I wasn't healed enough, because if I was healed, if I was whole, if I was content, I wouldn't have got with the wrong person. Ready for the third? Listen, it's not gonna be a third. He's gonna be the first, because it's gonna be the first. The first time I got a sister in Christ, she has the same story as my beautiful sister, beautiful on the inside and out, about to get married. And she said, even though this is my third, this is really my first. And I'm like, that's the same thing I said. It's gonna be my first. Be my first. So yeah, ready. Definitely ready. Definitely ready. But it'll be the first. The other ones don't matter. They don't matter. They were lessons. They were practice. All right. That was target practice for the devil, but God got me right. Okay. But right, they're dangerous. But I'm saying that to say, even though they bragged on me all the way up, even up to the last year, they bragged on me. They talked about me. And even when we got out of the marriage, said I was too good for them. Hear me when I say this. That wasn't enough. You will never be enough for a person who doesn't see God as enough for them. It has nothing to do with you as a person. It has everything to do with that person not being whole and content, not being happy with who they are in God. Not being happy with who they are in God. So let me go ahead and read this article. Like I said, this article comes from NBCmiami.com. And if any of the family members of this young lady listen to this, my sincerest condolences. Definitely not going to make light of her death or anybody's death that have passed on for any reason. I just want my objective here is to build a self-worth of God's people. And not only that, but to prevent somebody else from going under the knife and potentially losing their lives. So let's go ahead and get into this article. This one comes here. I just pulled up the first article I saw. This is right here. South Florida's NBCmiami.com. This is why I got to go ahead and get this other camera to work. And y'all, you see the 26-year-old Florida mother dies following plastic surgery. There's a baby growing up without a mother. This was written by Miriam Masihi. All right. Janisha Jayla Williams, 26, was a photographer, wife, mother to 2 young children, and her sister's best friend. I didn't know she was a wife. I didn't pay attention to that. She was very caring and always knew what to say. A cheerful personality and all-around beautiful soul, said her sister, Camilla Spikes. On October 20th, 2021, Jayla traveled from Hillsborough County to Best You Now Cosmetic Surgery Center implantation for a breast augmentation and a Brazilian butt lift or BBL. Latasha Leggett, her mother, flew from California to be by her side. I was asking every hour, how's my daughter doing? How are things going? And they kept telling me she's okay. Everything is fine, she said. Well, Latasha says she started worrying when all of the other patients were discharged and Jayla wouldn't come out. Then she heard a siren. The ambulance pulled up. That's when I said, "Excuse me, can someone tell me what's going on?" Latasha said. According to a report provided by the Broward Medical Examiner's Office, the procedure was completed, but she, Jayla, never woke up from the anesthesia. Latasha says the doctor and nurses approached her as her daughter was being transported to Plantation General Hospital. They politely grabbed me and said, "Your daughter is dead," Latasha said. Now, while the medical examiner's report lists the cause of death as undetermined, the Florida Health Department has filed administrative complaints against the surgery center licensed as Serenity Capital Investments LLC, the Best You Now, and Dr. John Edward Nees, the designated physician for that surgery center, claiming they allowed a doctor who was not a qualified anesthesia provider, to sedate Jayla. Black Diamond, I love you. I missed you. Thank you, sis. God bless you. Now, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm not going to read this in its entirety. The point of the matter is, this is a young lady who lost her life going to get a BBL. And we have seen an increase in that, women going to Dominican Republic to get a BBL, women, going down to Miami to get a BBL. That's what's trending nowadays. Because the thing about it is, everybody, we're designed by love, so we're designed to be loved. We all want to be loved. It's just a part of who we are, right? It's a part of who we are. And God says, "Seek ye first." And I need you to hear this spiritual. I need you to hear this biblically. Just completely ignore the nails because they way past due. I'm probably going to go tomorrow or the next day, what have you. But I want you to hear me. God says, "Seek ye first." God says, "Seek ye first." Y'all keep hearing me say that. God says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added to you." Let me tell you what it does. Because I was that person that did not seek him first. And now that I put him first, now that I've sought him first, then I want you to hear me when I say this. I have become content in him, and it's a scary place to be. Being content in God is literally scary. In the beginning, it's no longer scary, but it is literally scary in the beginning because it makes you feel like you're going to be single. Because people will always try to talk you off of that contentment. You're a little too content. You're going to have to lower your standards a little bit. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. Girl, you're going to have, you just want too much. No, I said I need him to be saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit. I need him to not be afraid to let me be who I am as a woman, as God designed me. Don't try to sit back and say, "Well, you're doing a little too much, Tiffany. Now I got to kind of come take over." And no, you got to know who you are in him. And that's what helps you to know who you should be with, who you should be in a relationship with. I am totally content and I am so content with who I am. I don't mind letting people fall out of my life. And it's scary because it doesn't make sense to most people. I'm so content with who I am. I don't adjust who I am to accommodate insecure people. I don't do that. There are some witnesses out there that are ready to cuss me out. I don't adjust who I am to accommodate people's insecurities. I don't adjust who I am to accommodate people's jealousy. I don't do that. I love you. I got your back. I pray for you. But one thing I'm not going to do is make space in my life for you to control me, to manipulate me, to devalue me, to demean me, to dismiss me. I don't make space for that. I'll smile at you and keep it moving. And I'm going to tell you something. All of us would love to have that body that we see on the television set. Everybody would, but y'all, let me just give it to you this way. Let me just give it to you straight. Beyonce has a beautiful body. That's what everybody's chasing after. Kim Kardashian has a beautiful body. It makes no sense to have a beautiful body if your mind ain't right. if your soul ain't right. It makes no sense to have that beautiful body. And even though they got beautiful bodies, they get cheated on or they got cheated on. Not making light of their situation or making fun of their situation. My condolences, for all anything they've gone through. I'm saying that to say, having the form that you want will not change your life. The herbal therapist, thank you. God bless you. God bless you. It doesn't change a thing. When I was as skinny as I wanted to be at that time, I took it all for granted. When I was that super snatched skinny girl walking around half dressed, I got cheated on. When I was married, that man was cheating. I was snatched. I was snatched. Not only was I snatched, I was doing everything that they told me I was supposed to do to make a man happy. Cooking, cleaning, lingerie down, the closet filled with more lingerie than anything. Brother Andre, you make me blush. Thank you. I had all of that stuff in place. I still got cheated on. And I was so perplexed because I believed the world at that time. I was so perplexed that I literally sat there, and I told y'all this story before. The day I found out I was cheated on, I sat there and stared at the wall for I don't know how long, for hours. I sat there just literally in a trance, staring at the wall, trying to figure out how anybody could cheat on me. Literally. I'm being honest. I was literally trying to figure out because I was trying to figure out where I went wrong. Like I did everything. I'm like, I made sure when he come home, because I had been taught that back in Mississippi, it's all about catering to a man's flesh. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Okay, they go a cook meal. I made sure I learned how to cook when I was little, sitting up there making sure I got my makeup on, got my clothes on, trying to make sure I look presentable for this dude, what have you, making sure I'm positive. And I ain't gonna talk about the bedroom. I'm saying all that to say I did all of that crap. It don't work. It doesn't work for the wrong man. Can I tell you something else? And you ain't got to do all that for the right man. You want to be intentional, yes, you want, but you ain't gotta be perfect. You can relax. With the wrong man, you gotta be at home with your choker on doing, and it still don't work. Okay, y'all know I used to be in a wildflower. Then we're gonna call it. I hung around wildflowers. Y'all, we were running around snatch waist, hair done, wearing the clothes, doing all that stuff. You have women walking by, and I remember when I was working at Walmart, you had women walking by. I'm talking about they had the body, they had the face, they had the walk down pat. They walking next to their man, and their man looked. Their man would do this right here. Let them walk up ahead of them. We used to catch on to that crap all the time. Let them walk up ahead of them. I'm saying that to say, getting a Brazilian butt lift is not going to change your life. The only thing it will change is you feeling better about yourself. And while that's good, you got to work that out with God, because you don't want to identify yourself by your flesh. I am not my flesh. This right here is temporary. This right here, I'm not going to be in this forever. This is temporary. This is my earth suit, right? I don't want to identify myself by this. This is temporary. I don't want to go out here and have them cutting me, putting me under anesthesia and doing all that stuff to me, putting my life in danger, just so I can become more visually appealing to somebody who doesn't want to listen to me. See, because if that man had sat up and listened to me, and he had God's spirit and God sent him, I would be enough. Just from him, just my company would be enough. Now, that's not to say that I can walk around with hair under my armpits and let it grow out to my arms sitting out here. That's not to say that I can sit around the house looking any kind of way. No, you want to be intentional. You want to be attracted to your man. But I'm saying that to say, If you think losing weight, getting a butt lift, getting lip injections, getting a brow lift, a facelift, if you think any of those things is going to keep a man, you are sadly mistaken. And I'm going to tell you, when I was in the world, I did not want to be. Let me say this. I miss my mom. I love my mom dearly. But I had a space of time in my life where I tried to do the gold digging thing, because that was my, it wasn't gold digging back in my mom's days. Let me just make sure I say that. Losing weight is good, but do it for you. See, for me, for example, I'm on a health kick because I don't like I don't like not having the energy. I like where I was back in the day. I like being energetic and all that other stuff. I don't want to go downhill where I'm just sitting around watching TV talking about something. We got any more ice cream in there. I got an extra throat. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to be able to have energy. I want to travel the world. I'm a traveler by nature in my heart. I'm ready. I'm ready to travel the world. I like to go to countries, right? So I don't want to be sitting around the house talking about some, you go get my house shoes. Nah, I want to be able to do some stuff, right? But I'm saying that when it comes down to my mom, back in my mother's day, I want to make sure I say this because I don't want to sound like I'm saying something bad about my mom. That wasn't gold digging for a woman to require a man have money, have a little taste of money, because they were taught to only be with men that could provide for them. They were taught that. My grandma, that was taught during my grandma's stage. That was taught majorly. That's actually taught in many countries still. Like, your parents, if you were in a lot of parts of Africa, your parents are going to examine the family of the dude you try to bring home. And they want to make sure that he can financially provide for you. They want to make sure the family ain't crazy, because they believe that if the family crazy, he crazy. I don't care if he sit there and he look all put together and presentable. In a lot of parts of Africa, if the family crazy, they gonna go ask the villagers or what have you. Hey, what's up with that family? They crazy as a bat rabbit. Okay. And they will say, we reject him. You cannot marry him. And you be crying, please, please. And no, you cannot marry him. But I'm saying that to say, I don't want you to think that my mom always put it on my heart, or she always put pressure on me to only be in a relationship with a man that can provide. So the men that my mom approved of whenever I was in the dating world were dudes that they were either in college or they had decent jobs. I had this one ex, we'll call him Troy. So we don't go too wild. And Troy had all of these professions. Met Troy when I was 16. I met him on my 16th birthday. He came to my house, something about my sister. I don't remember what it was. He came onto my house and he was on a little kid's bike or what have you. And he asked a question. I told him, he was like, you're pretty. I said, thank you. And he said, and somehow we got on the conversation about it being my birthday. He was like, it's your birthday? I was like, yeah. He was like, what are you doing at home? I said, I got nowhere to go. He was like, can I change that for you? I was like, change it. So he took me out on a date or what have you. My mom loved this dude. My mom loved this guy because I don't want to mention his professions, but he had two he had two good jobs, two decent jobs, two professional jobs, and he was also in college. My mom raised me with that. Now, nowadays, that's called gold digging. But back in the day, that's not gold digging. It was because the women typically did not work. So they wanted to make sure they got with a man that could provide or what have you. So that's something that was strong in my mom's generation. It was stronger in my grandma's generation. And so my mom, she was very adamant about me getting into a relationship with, somebody that could be a provider. Okay. What ended up happening was I had this one moment back in the day when I was in the world. I decided, let me kind of just make mama happy. Let me just try to see what this whole gold digging thing is about. Bruh. It wasn't something, matter of fact, it wasn't something I said I was going to do. It was by happenstance. Because one thing, and I said this to men before, it's always surprising. But these were older men. Older men typically will meet you with their wallet. They will meet you with your wealth. They will come after a girl that's 20 years younger than them, and they will come out knowing but good and well that she's not interested in them, and they come at you with their wallet. And so I met this guy, and I'm not gonna go into that story again, but met this guy. My mom was like, "Oh, I love him. I love him. I love him for you. He may not be the best looking dude, but at the same time, he can take care of you. He can provide for you. He can do this and he can do that." Um, Let me tell you the reason I ended that relationship. It only lasted like a couple of weeks. I couldn't do it. If it lasted a month, I couldn't do it. Gold digging wasn't for me. I was annoyed with everything that man did. He grit his teeth together and laughed. I was like, "Why you grit your teeth together? Why you do that with your oh, I couldn't do it." But another thing that I discovered when I was dating that guy, that brief dating, was that he wasn't into Tiffany. And this is why I could never get into that. He wasn't into Tiffany. He was into the fact that I was young. He was into the fact that he was attracted to me. To him, I was a trophy. To him, I was just some little girl that he could show off. Because at that time, like I said, snatch waist and everything, I was just somebody that he could show off. He wasn't interested in what was in my head. He was always trying to correct me. He was always trying to set the record straight. And I get emotional and start going out. How you going to try to tell me? You 40-some years old trying to go. I had a mouth on me. Lord, I had a mouth on me. But I'm saying that to say, that's what getting all of these procedures done. That's all it leads to, are people that are not interested in your mind. They're only interested in your body. I learned when I was dating that guy, and I tried the gold digging thing another time. I just couldn't. I could never get into it. It's not my thing. It's just not for me. If that's your thing, I'm sorry. My condolences to your brain. But for me, that's just not my thing. I could never get into that because the person, the human being will disregard your thoughts, your preferences. None of those things are important because they are financially providing for you. So you're paid to be a dummy. Sister Anissa, awesome. Thank you. God bless you, sis. God bless you. Thank you. You're literally there just being a dummy. Because I mean they're talking to you, but at the same time, they're always trying. That's so cute. You young people. So no. And you're like, Negro, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying that to say a lot of what you're doing is what's going to cause you to complain in the future. I've been in a position where I've tried being in relationships with guys that disregarded my mind. Y'all, I was married to a whole dude that disregarded my mind. That dude didn't even know. I don't even want to say this. He didn't know I had a decent enough IQ. He didn't know. And he found out at the end. Because I was raised in the South. I was raised to just be that girl, just do your part or what have you. And I found out he like them pretty and stupid. So I let him thought I was stupid. Y'all. And I'm being honest. That dude didn't know I had an IQ until we were going through a divorce. He didn't know it. Now he had conversations with me, got a chance to see a little thing. But I'm saying he didn't know I was as smart as I was because I didn't show that side to him. That side, I exercise that side of me with my friends. That's what, guys, you got to hear me. That's what women do. We exercise the side of us that you don't want with our friends. Okay? That's why we keep a lot of them. That's why our relationships with our friends are sometimes stronger than our relationships with our men. It's because we get to show them the side that would run you away. My friends got a chance to see Tiffany. He got a chance to see Tiffany. At the end, when he started trying to sabotage me, and I was like, "Oh, bro, he cut off." He didn't go on. He cut off the what is doing? Cut off the light switch, the power in the house. Trying to make me think the lights were off. I'm like, huh? But I'm saying that to say there is no satisfaction in those type of relationships because you have to outsource. I need you to hear me when I say this. You have to outsource. That means that what I'm not getting with him, I'm going to have to get in a friend. That means that I have to scatter myself. That means I got to be with him. And I had to say stupid stuff to him. And that's what I would do. I would say stupid stuff to him. I just say stupid stuff because he thought it was cute. Now, I said something stupid one time that I was really green in that moment. I don't know why I was green. I remember that. We were in the store in the produce section. And you got to keep in mind, we didn't buy a lot of produce growing up. We had a lot of processed stuff growing up. We were broke. Okay, we were poor. So we didn't get fresh stuff growing up, right? It's just a few things you saw your parents get, like onions in a bag or what have you. But in the produce section, we didn't spend a whole lot of time over there. So I genuinely didn't know that it had a sprinkler that came on, like, that little thing that kind of rained on I didn't know that. So when we got over to the produce section one time, I think it was a red pepper. It was a red pepper, and it had the dew on it. It had the dew on it. And I picked it up and I said, oh, it still got the water on. This means it just got picked. It's fresh. And he covered his face. He covered his face. He said, shh, just stand there. Don't say nothing. He said, at least you're cute. Just don't say nothing. Don't say nothing else. Just stand there. Don't say nothing. Or what have you. But I'm saying that to say, now to the guys, a woman will give you the side of her that you pursue. I just told y'all something. Some of y'all married don't even know that. Some of y'all married, you don't even know your wife. But that was a true green moment for me. I'm not lying. That was a true green moment because we didn't have produce growing up. And now when I think about it, I still laugh at it to this day. But I literally did. I picked up, I was like, it still got the dew on it. Because, I saw it on television, the commercials with the water and they be breaking it, say fresh and all that. So that's, I associated water on vegetables and water on fruit with freshness. I didn't know that they had a little sprinkler thing that would just kind of make it rain on the produce. So I said that, and he was like, shh, don't say nothing. Just stand right there. Just don't say nothing. Just stand there. Yeah, at least you're cute. At least you're cute. But to the guys, a woman will always give you the side of her that you pursue. A woman is multi-faceted and multi-dimensional, just like every guy is. And to the women, don't get in a relationship with a man who's only interested in you physically. Because the physical nature, your physical body is going to change. I've changed a lot. I've changed a lot. And I now understand what those old ladies used to say to me. Back, baby, when I was about your age, I used to have a body like yours. I found myself like, good God. But I'm saying, you change physically. And you don't want to commit suicide trying to get back to who you used to be. You want somebody who can grow with you. Now, I'm not saying that's an excuse to go and get just let your fat just spill over your kneecaps and your breasts start hanging down to your butt cheeks. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you want somebody that understands that as you age, you're gonna grow. And sometimes some things don't grow out of place. Some things don't sag. Some things, but you go get your help, you do your exercise, you eat right and all that other stuff. But it does not change the fact that some things are going to change. You're going to age. And let me also make sure I mention this. A lot of people don't realize this. I've noticed this trend because I used to be a part of this trend. A lot of times when a woman, and I'm not saying that's the case with Janisha. I don't know what was going on with her. I didn't even know she was married. A lot of cases with women, when they don't feel good enough for their husbands, or if their husbands cheat, women begin to make changes then to their appearance because they think that if I look better, he'll stop cheating on me. Women think that all the time. A lot of changes women make physically, especially when they're married, sometimes they can do it because they're trying to keep up. But in a lot of cases, when they make drastic changes, in many cases, again, I'm not talking about her, but in many cases, it's to win back the affection of the man at home. You'll see a woman cut her hair off, where all of a sudden she started wearing Rapunzel extensions. You'll see a woman lose a bunch of weight. Women do a lot of things when they're being cheated on. When a woman is being cheated on because she feels like if I can get back to a snatch waist, if I can get back to that space where he first met me, he'll want me again, or he'll regret cheating. And I'm saying this to say, this is why you want to see God first, because you don't want to be in a marriage with somebody like that. I don't want to be married to a man that makes me feel insecure. I don't want to be married to a man that makes me aware of something that I'm already aware of. It makes me feel bad about that. I don't want to be married to a man that sit back and say, eh, "Baby, you can do a few more squats, okay? You keep stopping at 25. We're gonna go to 150, 150 night. No, come on, keep it. No, you don't. You got to hear me when I say this. You don't want to be with a man who relies on your appearance so he can have a good appearance. Does that make sense? I don't want somebody who is so concerned about what his friends think about him that he puts pressure on me because he want to have the prettiest girl at the party. I've never been attracted to those type of dudes in my life. Even when I was in the world, I've never been attracted to those type of dudes. They get under my skin. The one that he's competing with his baby brother, he's competing with his best friend, he competing with Uncle Earl, because Uncle Earl, even though he's 64 years old, he keeps showing up at the reunion with a 32-year-old or with a 19-year-old, and they always got snatch waist, pretty face, and big butts. But the snatch waist, the pretty face, and the big derriere don't do nothing because Uncle Earl show up with a different woman every time y'all have a family reunion. You have to make a decision. To the ladies, you have to make a decision. Do I want to be a wife, or do I want to be somebody's woman? Do I want to be a girlfriend? Do I want to be somebody that a dude shows out? We can step into history. Going to Vashti. Considering, excuse me, what happened with Vashti. We can sit here, talk about how Vashti was disobedient and stuff like that. And I always laugh because a lot of times when I'm talking about the story, you can tell a lot of women that are bitter, they side with Vashti. But I think being a woman, you're going to side with Vashti to an extent. You understand where she's coming from, but you understand where the king is coming from. That's when you're balanced in your thinking. You understand what the king was saying as well. But at the same time, usually the ones that are really bitter, they're just pretty much just like Vashti. Yeah, what have you. So anyhow, I don't want to go into that. You can side with Vashti because one, King Xerxes, when he was married to Esther, now this is after he was married to Vashti, when Mordecai, was communicating with Esther through, one of her servants, she said he hadn't sent for her in 30 days. And she was still kind of a new chick. Vashti was, I'm pretty sure, had been there for a while. You can imagine this man probably wasn't sending for her that often. Vashti understood what it meant to be a trophy. And I'm telling you right now, some of y'all are auditioning for a role that you're going to be begging to get out of. He only sent for her because he wanted to parade her in front of a bunch of drunk dudes. He only sent for her. Brother Allen, thank you. Thank you. He only sent for her because he wanted to parade her. He wanted to bring her out. And can you imagine a dude don't want to be anywhere near you, want to hang out with his friends, want to just go do his life, but then he want to parade you in front of a bunch of dudes? Right? He got rid of her with the quickness. But I'm saying that to say, that's the role you're auditioning for. Be careful that you don't audition for a role that you're going to be mad if you end up getting the part. I have lived long enough, and I've lived. I don't think y'all hear me when I say I've lived. I lived. So I've lived to tell you, I can come and tell you that getting that role, getting in a relationship with somebody who disregards who you are because they are physically attracted to you is not a flex. It's not a flex. Let me speak to this because it's dynamic. Because a lot of times with women, we start playing with our feminine wiles when we're young. Once we get young, what have you, and For the first time your breast start coming out, you get that little hard thing in your chest, and the first come out feel like a tumor. You think you got a tumor. I know I did. I went to my mom, Mommy, I think I got a tumor. What have you? She's like, no, that's a breast. No, it's not. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts when it first started coming out. But being a woman, you think that when you're young, excuse me, when you're young, you start discovering your feminine wiles. When you start discovering it, you start discovering the way men look at you. You start discovering that these jokers be going in a trance. You start learning that I could get money out of them. I could do a lot. When you start discovering that's okay when you're young. But you got to grow out of that at some point. You got to grow out of that at some point, because if you don't grow out of that, it becomes witchcraft. It becomes witchcraft. Thank you, Sister Regine. God bless you. If you don't grow out of that, it becomes witchcraft, because it becomes manipulation. When you're young, it's still young. It's still witchcraft, but it's just useful ignorance or what have you. When you're trying that on for size, when you're young, you should see what it attracted. It attracted the little boy that stared at you that was in a trance. It attracted him. But you know what? It was all sexual. It was all fantasy. You were a little Kim poster. But at some point, you had to come off the wall. I'm only saying that to say, when we start talking about Brazilian butt lifts, I need you guys to get to the point where you pray and you ask God to heal you from whatever traumas of rejection that you dealt with. I'm saying that you want to learn how to be content with who you are. Now, I'm not saying not to do the makeup. If you like to do the makeup, but take it off sometimes, right? Take it off sometimes. Let people see you without it. I'm not saying that you can't do things to enhance yourself. But when it gets to the point where it becomes where they want to cut your body, that's where don't put yourself in danger. Don't put your life in danger trying to impress people who may potentially serve as temps in your life, who will disregard who you are here because of how you're formed here. All he wants to do is show you off and hump you. Wait for the one who wants your mind. Wait for the one who wants your mind. Wait for the one. I told y'all when my little sister one time, well, this was many, many years ago before she got married, but I remember she was talking about this dude that she had started talking to, and she was telling me about him. He was a musician. She was so happy. He was a Christian, and she told me, because she ain't been about that Christian life. So she was telling me about this dude, and she was like, so she reached out to me because she knew I was Christian, and she starts telling me about him. And she's like, yeah, but he be, I don't remember what she told me. I said, look, I said, what you're describing is lust. I said, wait, does he do this to you? I said, when you're talking to him, does he stare? And everything you say, he repeated. So you say, like Brother Allen said, I want pure love. If you said, he said, you want pure love. You say, yeah, I want somebody to love me, for who I am, for who you are. Yeah. I was at the supermarket yesterday and I was, down the aisle, and I saw this guy, and the guy was looking at me. He was looking at you. He don't hear nothing you're saying. He's just repeating. I told her, I said, girl, that man ain't, I said, he repeats everything you say. He just stares. And I said, it's like almost this blank look. He's just staring. She said, yeah, how did you know? I said, girl, that's lust. That dude was horny. I said, that's lust. That's lust. I've seen that look way too many times. I know what it is. That's somebody that's disregarding anything you're saying. Not interested in what you have to say because they're trying to get to the prize. Not interested in what you have to say. I sit up and I watch these little shows or what have you. I told you I was watching Country Wayne show. And just like on his show, you see a woman going to a hotel with a man. And you want to spend a night with me? Yeah. And the woman is flattered. But it's a representation of what's going on in the world today. It's a representation of what's going on in the world today. I'm saying that to say, you get into a relationship with somebody like that, that person is not interested in you as a person. And y'all, ladies, you got to get delivered from this belief that I'll win him with my looks and my body. And then when I get him, he'll see that I'm a good person. And then he'll come to love me. So he'll have the best of all worlds. And y'all know I'm talking to you. He'll have the best of all worlds. He'll have the person he's physically attracted to, the woman he doesn't mind showing off, and at the same time, he'll like my mind. It's not how that works. Yes, you want your husband to be physically attracted to you. They always say men are visual creatures at the end of the day. But at the same time, don't get caught up in that, because you don't want a man who's solely led by his flesh. I don't want a competitive man who competes with his best friend or his baby brother. That is, I'm gonna call it what it is girly to me. I don't know, because I'm from the South. That's girly to me. I don't want a man that I gotta compete with his baby brother, new girlfriend, because his baby brother that left his wife and got himself a girl that's 13 years younger than him. And now I gotta sit up here and try to find a way to give me some youth serum so I gotta compete with her, because I'm scared he gonna walk on me too. No, you want somebody who knows who he is. I'm gonna say this. I think this is the most important part of it. First, he needs to know who he is in Christ. You want somebody who's content within himself. I've always been this way. I broke up with a dude, and I know this is just kind of me more so talking. This is not a Bible based. This is gonna be the type of teaching I'm gonna do on Wednesdays. But I broke up with a dude when I was, how old was I? 18. Because I realized it was really 19, yeah, technically 18. I realized that while he looked good, he wasn't going nowhere. And at the same time, I realized that rap music was going to influence his decisions. And I remember, I never forget, I was 18 years old, and I had got to a point where I started discovering myself. I'll never forget this thought. I never forget I started telling people, I don't want the man walking up to the people that walking up to the men who did something with their lives. He like, hey, yeah, I'm trying to be like you. And he didn't do nothing. I want the one that did something. I don't want the follower who watches TV to find his personality. I want the one who's so content within himself, even if he got folks around him and his family, and they out there cheating and leaving their wives and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He ain't moved by that stuff, because at the end of the day, he's content in who he is. He's content in who he is. He knows what he wants. He knows that, hey, I'm building something over here. And if I'm going to build, I'm going to have to keep the same ages. I'm going to be with my wife. I got to do this thing God's way. I'm going to do this thing God's way. I don't want to be sitting up here constantly having to replace my builders just because now I done met somebody else. Because, brother, y'all got to hear me on this. Like I said, this is more of a discussion. Y'all got to hear me on this. A lot of the insecurities women deal with, of course, have been from trauma they've experienced with men. But this is only to those of you who have ears. Don't be enticed by what looks better. Because I've seen so many, and I've had to counsel so many men that have gotten themselves in a situation like that, where they got a woman that looked better, but that woman was ugly on the inside. I'm talking about bitter. That woman was hideous on the inside. A monster. Took them through, and they did all of that because they were trying to impress. Heal so you don't try to impress. I don't care about impressing people. At the end of the day, y'all, I don't think y'all know I don't think y'all know how deep this thing go for me. I don't care about impressing people. I genuinely don't. And I don't want somebody that is trying to impress a bunch of folk. I don't want somebody that got to listen to the television set to find out who they are. I don't want somebody that's got to be sitting up there looking at his friends and trying to compete with them, or his baby brother. I don't want nobody like that, because he doesn't have his own brain. And I don't know what I'm going to be dealing with every single day. There's nothing like a man who is content and who he is in Christ. There's nothing, I'm gonna say it, because and I know somebody gonna say something stupid. There's nothing like a Denzel Washington, even though he's fine and he's saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit. He's content with his wife. Now somebody gonna come say he cheated on his wife. I ain't never heard no news like that, so miss me with it. So somebody always is always rumors or what have you. Ain't no scandal. Even though this man can go out there and get himself into so many scandals, but he has a fear of God in him, and he says content. He's content. That man knows that whoever go first, hey, if he in the hospital, his wife gonna fight for his life. Some of y'all dudes be throwing yourself in a relationship with women. They're gonna be going to the hospital and they're gonna have a freeze pop in their hands, and they're gonna be like, "Ma'am, we wanted to talk to you," and he'll be like, "Pull the plug." That we weren't about to ask you that. But yeah, we do have to ask you, since before we put him under, because we're gonna do the surgery. Like if he doesn't recover, should we resuscitate? Don't care nothing about you, because men and women do the same thing. Men get with women that don't like them, throwing their wallets and throwing all of that stuff at them, trying to make them happy with money, thinking that they'll come to love them. They don't. Women do that with their bodies. Women throw their bodies at men, thinking that they'll come to love them. They don't. Right, like that Tyler Perry movie, and that's real. That's real. You can find yourself in a relationship with a female that don't care nothing about you. I got two uncles 6 feet deep. You can find yourself in a relationship with a female that's pretty, fine, snatch waist, pretty face. And you know something? She's not attracted to you. She want that dude at the gym, but he done ran through her like every other dude. Every man that she want, they done ran through her. But she'll settle for you because you got a little bit of money. I'm telling you, she'll settle for a dude because you got a little bit of money and be out there cheating on you with the dude at the gym. Be out there doing her thing with other men and be ready for you to kick the bucket, because she feel like if I can get up, if I can get the big house, if I can get over, like if I can supersede the dude that I want financially, if I can present myself, then he'll want me. You got women out here to be trying to bless other dudes with your money. Okay, y'all don't want to talk about that. Because a lot of times men don't think they can be victimized. I see it all the time. Y'all be getting y'all tails victimized out here in these streets. Like I told you, I got two uncles that are 6 feet deep because they didn't choose wisely when they chose their women. And ladies, y'all got to stop thinking that if I have the better body, I'll get the better man. If I look this way, then I'll never be cheated on. If I go get this Brazilian butt lift, if I change the color of my hair, if I go to the gym, I'm gonna make him love me. It don't work. It don't work. The only thing that works is God's way. I need somebody to write that in the chat. The only thing that works is God's way. Do things God's way. God's way is foolproof. Go about it God's way. Don't be in a relationship with somebody just because you're visually attracted to them. That's a stupid thing to do. You want to be visually attracted, but if I'm not mentally attracted to you, the devil is a cockeyed lie. I would much rather be mentally attracted to a man than to be visually attracted to him. Now, I want both, but at the end of the day, if I had to choose, I would much rather be with somebody I can have a conversation with than to have to dumb myself down for another dude. And what happened with the dude that tried to kidnap my tail? I messed around and showed him I had a brain cell. I messed around and let him see one of my brain cells, and boy, he tried to fight me. So I broke it off with him. Next thing you know, I'm on the passenger side. On the passenger side being kidnapped because I messed around and got with a guy whose IQ was not that great. And I messed around and had a conversation with him, and I let that dude know I messed around and let him know I had a brain cell. That's why when I got married, I hid my brain cells. Tell you, when I got married, I was hiding my brain cells. I was just like, I was like tucking them away. I just sit there and just play the dumb. Y'all attracted to dumb girls? Okay, I play dumb for you. Then you go to sleep. Then I get on the phone and talk to my friends, and me and her, we can sit up and talk. And hey, girl, and then I can show her all of my brain cells. I never forget that dude told me, "You a different person when you with your friends." I'm me when I'm with them. I can talk to them. I can say, I can use this type of language and what have you with you. It's gonna start a fight. Because that's what happens when you get with dudes who don't have that many brain cells. Whenever you start talking smart, it start a fight. Yo. If you don't know that, it's because you got to pick up your brain cell. Listen. You get with somebody that ain't that smart, it start a fight. It start a fight. You go to talking. It start a fight. That's why a lot of times what we do is we just sit there. Which reaches that? That was when 2021, October. Y'all think I'm joking? It does. I've been there before. I was with that dude. It started a fight. I used the word actually, and then I educated him. I'm not saying that my dude got to be super smart. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he got to be able to hold a conversation. I ain't dumbing down for nobody. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, what up, yo? Cause I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it because we can't have a conversation about life in general. Cause we can't talk. Cause all he know is, yeah, actually, when you say actually, that usually precedes something that's gonna be, it's gonna show that you got a little bit of sense. And that started a whole fight. It started me almost got kidnapped. And y'all, I'm just being funny. I'm being honest though. I know there are some ladies on here that you have been considering a butt lift or what have you. And for those of you who are considering it, if you're willing to talk, you're willing to chat, I'm willing to chat it out with you here. I'm not saying get in my inbox because I don't never have time for that. But I want to ask because I think every woman has considered it. Every woman has considered it. Most women have considered it. What? And I want for those of you who've considered it, not that you're considering it, for anybody who's bold enough to answer, what is it that you think it would do for you? And I want to give you a little revelation from the answer. Like, what is it that you think it would accomplish in your life? How do you feel like it would enhance your life? Because it's a procedure that puts your life in danger. Considering lip fillers, yeah, a lot of women do. A lot of women do. I went to this place, the lady was asking me, do I want this like lip tinting? And I was like, But I seen some of the women, I didn't even know that was a thing, that you could go get your lips tinted. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But it looks nice. I'm waiting on the bold sisters to speak up while I'm looking for my lipstick. Oh, there we go. Nobody's answering. I see everybody saying no. I used to think that it would help men be attracted to me. Right. I love the honesty. Give me a second. Your honesty would encourage other people to be honest because a lot of people are just not wanting to be bold. I'm about to drop it. Let's see. Little butts. I'm trying to tell you. Your sciatic nerve runs through your booty. Wow. Let's see here. It could build a woman confidence. I seriously consider nose job because of my wide nose. I thought it would make me prettier. I never went through with it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Raise self-confidence and esteem. They all look the same. Get rid of flat butt. I consider the breast lift because it was for the look. And I've actually considered a breast reduction. I've considered that majorly, big time. Like I've considered a breast reduction more than once. But let me say this. Confidence, and I want y'all to hear me when I say this. Confidence is not a product of how you look. Conceit is. Confidence is a product of how you think. I want to set you free because I want you to hear me when I say this. Some of the finest women on this planet don't have confidence. I come from, there are beautiful women everywhere. Who's that? There are beautiful women everywhere. Okay. I've personally known women, and I'm literally thinking about one sister now. I happened to spot her online the other day, and I literally started thinking about how pretty she was. I remember her, how pretty she was, and this girl had a natural, beautiful figure, natural long lashes, had the pretty eyes, and she has this beautiful figure. Saw her online or what have you. Hadn't seen her online in a while. That's why, as soon as I see her, I always think about how pretty she is, gorgeous she is. Her self-esteem was not that great. Every woman I've known, and you got to hear how Satan works. Every woman I've known that had the figure that a lot of women are killing themselves to get, their self-esteem wasn't that great. Self-esteem is not a product of how you look. Conceit is. Your self-esteem or your confidence. Now, if you put the entirety of yourself on your being, on your outer being, then of course you can ruin your self-esteem. Your confidence is really going to be built on how you see yourself. That's why it's important to chase God first. That's why it's important to make sure you regulate your mental health. That's why it's important for you to get in your purpose. That's why it's important for you to build your trust with yourself. That means to be consistent and stop quitting and not being emotional. When you build your trust with yourself, that's when your self-esteem starts to soar. I am not lying when I say this, because I have lived on the side of the spectrum where I dealt with being happy with my body when I was a young girl, being a size 4. Didn't have the butt, but I was happy with my body. And I was happy. I was so happy with it that I wore really short skirts and had my shirt cut up to here, because I had a strong C cup at that time, probably D. I was happy. I was running around. I was happy with what I looked like, to the point where I never thought to compete. I never thought to compete. And I had women that tried. My cousin, when we were, and I've shared this story before, we were about to go to the club. We were in the world. We were getting ready to go to a club, and they were having a short dress contest. And she wanted to wear this dress I was going to wear. She had bought her clothes down, but she saw some stuff I had. And I was like, no, I'm wearing this brand new. No, the one she wanted to wear wasn't brand new at first. She wanted it. She was infatuated with it, and I was supposed to be wearing it. And then she said to me, I finally gave it to her. I was like, okay, cool. I thought about something else. So I went into my closet. I had another outfit. I remember it was another dress. And it was a little short, skimpy dress or what have you. And I'm like, and I took it out. It was brand new. She was like, oh, cuz, you got to let me get that. Cuz, let me rock this. Cuz, you got to do this. Cuz. And she kept saying it. And she was like, if we want to win, because, you won $100, I think. 100 or 500, I don't remember. But I just remember you won money. I think it was 100. She was like, cuz, we're going to split this money. We're going to split this money. Cuz. And I gave in. I let her get that one because I thought about another one that I had. The third one I thought about was actually a lingerie gown that I had. It was velour, black spaghetti strap velour lingerie gown. I thought about that thing. Women were wearing velour dresses that looked like gowns out. I was like, you can wear that one. Okay. Rushed over to the closet. And this cousin of mine, bad. The body, bad. Okay. I ran over to, and when I say bad, I'm talking about she's fine. I ran over to the closet and I reached to the back, because that's where I kept my little lingerie. What happened? Because that was my hope chest when I got married. But I reached to the back of the closet, got the little velour dress out and pulled it out. And she said, nah, cuz I need that dress. And I'm like, no, I will let you talk me out of 2 of them. She was like, cuz if you want to win. And then she was like, my body's better than yours. And when she said that, it wasn't something I had considered. It wasn't something I had thought about. I thought about two girls coming out who were confident within themselves, right? I didn't think about any of that. Those things did not cross my mind. She was like, "Cuz my body's better than yours. We have a better chance of winning if I wear." And I looked at her and I was like, "How dare you?" And I said something to her about it. And I walked out. I left. I remember I left. I went outside and what have you. And I went. And then she came and she found me. She was apologizing. She found me like 20 or 30 minutes later. But I was sitting on the stairs. When I came back, sat on the stairs. Because I had went off. She was like, "I wasn't trying to make you feel bad." And I told her, I said, "Hey, I don't compare myself to you. I've never really looked at you like that." I'm like, "You got a neat shape. You have a neat shape. So you're going to rock out. You're going to do good in anything you wear. But for you to tear me down to build yourself up, that's not my thing. For you to tear me down to build yourself up, that's not my thing." I'm saying that to say, I understood, even in that moment, even though I was young and I was in the world, that every man has a preference. And I never want to be with a man who does not prefer me. That's torture. You don't know what it feels like to be in a loveless relationship. That's torture. I was young enough. I was young, but I had enough sense to know that I did not want to be in a relationship. Like, I was not there to compete with my cousin. It was supposed to be a short dress contest. It wasn't about who had the better body. None of that. They talked about dancing. For me, I thought we're going to go there. We're going to show off our moves. We're going to have this little short dress thing and what have you. I'm saying this because I'm trying to reach those who I can't reach. I'm saying this to say, you don't want to get caught up in your physicality. You don't want to get caught up in trying to attract somebody with your physical being. You want to enhance yourself here because this is what keeps the man. This right here does not. This don't keep nobody. This right here don't keep nobody. Matter of fact, it don't even keep itself. This right here is talking to me right now. I cook chicken dressing. It's saying, "Go in there and get that chicken dressing, baby girl." No, this doesn't. This right here, it don't keep nobody. I'm single. If this kept somebody, trust me, I need to bring some folks from my past. They'll tell you, I dated the finest. I dated the finest of the finest, the most good-looking guys. My friend girl told me the other day, she asked me if I was interested in a guy. She was like, "What about this guy here?" And then she was like, "Nah, you like pretty boys." I was like, "Where you get that from?" But I'm saying that was her thought. You like pretty boys. I was like, "Huh?" I don't like a man with a brain. But I'm saying that to say, I'm not, I'm not deceived into thinking that if I go cut myself up, I'll get a man. Yes, I could attract a man if my confidence or my self-esteem was better, if I felt that better, because then it's going to show. And men are attracted to confidence. I need you to catch that. Men are attracted to confidence. A lot of times, what you see when a man is checking out a female is her confidence. Confidence is better than makeup. When I used to go to the club, I hung with dimes. And I'm not lying, I never felt insecure or inferior. And I never in my life, and if I got those women today, they would tell you, never have we ever went out and I didn't get attention. Never did they get more attention. It was either, most of the times it was equal, sometimes more. Sometimes maybe it could be a little bit less. For the most part, it was equal. I never experienced that. So my confidence never went to the toilet because I never experienced that. Because my confidence wasn't just in that. I knew I had a brain. And when you got a brain, you know, if he chooses the girl who has the IQ of a spider being tumbled around in a washing machine and the spin cycle, just because she got hips and baby hair, my condolences to him. My condolences to his last name. I don't give three rats feathers. I wouldn't want to be with him anyhow, because he's shallow. And I don't want to be in a relationship with a shallow man. I don't. I don't want to be in a relationship with a shallow man. I just don't. I don't want to be in a relationship. It's like being in a relationship with, the proverbial how people said about blunts. I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who gets his identity from the television set or from his friends. I like a man who has his own brain. I like a leader. I like a guy that, not a die, please don't die on me, but I like a guy that knows who he is. He's not moved by what you think. That if he's sitting around his friend and his friend like, man, what about that waitress? She checking you out. Hey man, I'm with Tiffany. I mean, what Tiffany don't know. Man, I don't play that type of stuff. That's my baby. That's my girl. You do what you want to do in your life, but don't ever try to seduce me into that mess like that. Dang man, I'm my bad. That's the type of dude I like. I don't like I gotta try to impress him and destroy my family in the process because the little boy in me got wounded and I don't know who I am. So now I'm out here slinging it around just so I can impress a dude. Just so some guy can think good about somebody can give me a dap and say you the boy, then he gonna go home. No, somebody that you can build with. Because let me tell you, if you get in a relationship with the wrong man, you'll be too afraid to build. Y'all would call me a lie. You'll be too afraid to build with him. That's why y'all end up broke. You too scared to build with him. You too scared. You'll build to an extent, but you won't build too much because you don't want him to get rich. Because you already know he ain't got no sense right now. The dude ain't even hit 6 figures yet. He like 30,000. He ain't nowhere near $30,000 a year. Got the nerve to have an attitude. And you know good and well. He don't act right at that. He gets 6 figures. And let's not talk about 7 figures. That's right. Want a grown man, a guy. 7 figures is going to make women look at him that never looked at him before. And if he ain't got no sense, he'll throw away the woman who wanted him at the bottom for the woman that only wants the top version of him. Just because she look good, he can show her off. Okay, I kind of feel like I'm deviating for this. I got to get back into it so I can close this out. I'm only saying this. Be happy with who you are. Exercise. Get the discipline. My friend girl, I told y'all, she reached out to me and she said, let's book a trip to the Dominican Republic. I was like, okay, I'm game. What we going there for? And then she's like, the surgery. I said, the devil is a lie. I said, I ain't going over there to die. At the same time, you don't know what type of effect that's going to have on you in your old age. I don't want to have problems in my old age if they start discovering if you got a BBL between the years of such and such and such and such, and your eye done fell out your head. Call this number 1-800. And half of the doctors that did surgery by this time, they done went on to be with the Lord. They gone. You can't even sue them. What's better is the discipline. And I know somebody will say, well, Tiffany, what if I ain't got no booty? Girl, don't no man but a shallow man care about that. Don't no man but a shallow man. You are not going to find too many flat booty single women. Call me a lie. You don't find them too much, do you? Because men who matter don't care. Men who matter don't really, that ain't that important. Somebody that want to see your clothes off of you, yes. All right, squat. Get yourself the DB method. A man looking for a wife ain't walking around talking about some turnaround. He does not treat you like you a chicken at the farmer's market. Let me lift the feathers up a little bit. No. Right. Work out, get the discipline. That's why I told my friend girl, I said, I'd rather have the discipline. For me, the discipline is better because then I can sustain it. I wouldn't want just to go out here to some surgery center and they cut me up and now I gotta heal. They got to wake me up from anesthesia, and somebody got to. Now I got to learn how to sit on the toilet again. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to die to attract the wrong man, because that's all the BBL is going to do. Get your confidence. Your confidence. If you're looking for confidence, that's going to be found in Jesus Christ, because he messes around and tell you who you are. Confidence comes with your identity. It comes with your with your a revelation of who you are, because your authenticity represents your authority. Your confidence comes in there. I'm confident as a woman. I am confident. I don't walk around comparing myself to other women, and I don't give three rats feathers if a man passes me by. It does not diminish who I am as a person. If a man chooses another female over me, it does not. When I say it literally does nothing to me, it's scary. It doesn't bother me. It ain't scary to me. It's scary to other folk. It does not bother me, because at the end of the day, if that's what he wants, I prefer him to have what he wants. And I wouldn't want a man who thinks he's settling for me. I don't want to settle for somebody who thinks they're settling for me. I don't want to settle for somebody who thinks they're settling for me. I know I'm a blessing. And some of you don't know that about yourself, because you have not chased God. You don't know how valuable you are. I know without a shadow of doubt. You can't convince me otherwise. I know that the dude that get me gonna be blessed. I don't care. I know that. I know I'm a blessing. I'm not saying that from a place of conceit. I'm saying that because I live with me. I know I'm a blessing. I know that the dude that I know he gonna be blessed. I know he gonna be thanking the Lord. He gonna be like, God, I know you love me. But if I'm in a space and I come across a guy and he trying to look between me and another female, I don't want him. I always say choose her. Don't choose me, choose her. I would never be okay with being an option. I know that sounds crazy, because I know they'd be like, well, Tiffany ain't gonna lie, I got a crush on like 2 or 3 other females. If I find out, if I'm an option, I don't even want you. I just don't. I just don't. It's tacky to me, because to me that says you're just wanting to be in a relationship. That's not saying you want me. That's just saying I want to be in a relationship with somebody, and you're one of those women that I feel I'm qualified for. Yeah, the devil is a 3-feathered lie. And this is the thing I'm trying to get y'all to. You got to get to know who you are in Christ, that you can walk with that confidence. You can walk with that confidence. And you can walk with that confidence, not competing or comparing yourself with other women. You can walk with that confidence. If you walk by a guy and you think, oh, he's handsome, and he look past you, it don't do nothing to you psychologically. You don't think, well, if I looked a little bit better. No, because then if I looked a little bit better, maybe I would attract him. And that would not be a good thing. That would be a catastrophe, because he's already shown that maybe he's shallow. I'm not, and I won't say he's shallow because I'm not his preference. At the end of the day, everybody has the right to have a preference. But I'm saying that to say I don't want a shallow man. I don't think y'all know what it's like to be with a shallow man. I do. I don't want a shallow man. I don't want a shallow man. It's like churning mud. I don't want to be talking to somebody who thinks with somebody else's brain, because that's all shallowness is. Men choose their wives, though. Yeah, women get to choose as well. We get to choose whether or not the man that chooses us, we want to choose him back. We ain't got to take you just because you choose. Just in case you didn't know. Even back in the biblical days, the father would, allow a guy to come, but the woman had to say. A woman had to say. So we ain't got to come just because a man comes up and says, I choose you. Yeah, I got to choose you back. Can two walk together except they be agreed? That's Amos 3:3. That's Amos 3:3. So I'm saying all that to say, in closing, because my chicken dressing is calling me. I got to throw it out after today. But we're going to have one more rendezvous before I get rid of it. But I'm saying all of that to say, this young lady had a Brazilian butt lift. They finished the procedure. That's what the article says. But she never woke up. I saw somebody on my timeline some years ago. And this lady has shared. The lady wasn't on my timeline. Her friend was, and the lady had shared on her timeline. She was like, "Rest in peace to my friend," what have you. And I always get curious when I see stuff like this. So I clicked on the lady's page, what have you. And for whatever reason, I'm just a weirdo. I like to go all the way back to see the person talking. Like I like to see what they, I go past the RIP post and all that. And I'm just going down. I know the lady had mentioned, I saw her, she mentioned the woman that went to Dominican Republic to get a butt lift, a Brazilian butt lift, a BBL. I went to her page and I scrolled all the way down. I kept scrolling because I had to go past all those rest in pieces, I miss you, and all that. I went all the way down and I found the woman, the living version of her, right? The record of her, the stuff that she had been posting up. And I saw the stuff she was talking about, and she was talking about going to the Dominican Republic. I never forget this. This has always stuck with me. The lady posted up that she was going to the Dominican Republic. She was getting a butt lift. A man came in her comment section. He said, "Don't do that. A lot of people going over there, they dying." The man was being respectful. He was trying to warn her. She tried to rip him a new one. She tried to rip him a new one. You don't know what you're talking about. It's my body. I do what I want with my body. What have you? The next post that came up after that was rest in peace. Right. Anesthesia ain't no joke. Next thing that came up was rest in peace. Pride goes before destruction and a haughty look before fire. That's right, Sister Boy. She was warned. She had that way of escape. I'm saying this to the young ladies because a lot of women that are around my age, we come to realize that, hey, at the end of the day, you either gonna want me or you not. Period. It's simple. You gonna want me or you don't want me. If you don't want me, I don't want you to want me. I don't want to change your mind. I'm not gonna go get a love spell. I ain't playing with nobody's witchcraft. I ain't doing none of that. If you don't want me, I don't want you to want me. Because I want you to have what you want. I have God's heart for you. God wants to give you the desires of your heart. Now, if the desires of your heart are not in alignment with God's, then he ain't gonna want you to have that. For me, at the end of the day, that's between you and God. But I'm not interested in changing somebody's mind about me. I'm just not. I've never been that person. Even when I was in the world, I've never been that person that felt like, oh, he's looking at my friend. She's light skinned. Let me go bleach my skin so that I can make him want me. Because bleaching skin was the trending in my day. There are sisters walking around here with light skinned faces and dark necks. At some point, they start reaching for their necks as well. But then they can't wear swimsuits because they dark starting here. It's not that deep, guys. Go do the mental exercises. Get strong. Know who you are in God. Find yourself in Him. Find God. Find yourself in Him. And build your confidence in that. Build your confidence over there. Let God give you a revelation of who He is and a revelation of who you are. Yeah, they got dark necks, dark breasts, and they be trying to answer all these questions and stuff. I just, you can't really explain that. They bleached their face. It started off with people bleaching their face, and then they started getting made fun of because people started noticing that they had dark necks, and then they started bleaching their necks. But most of the time they were poor. They couldn't afford to get the cream. Their cream was expensive. That little bitty thing of cream, they didn't want to try to do all this right here, so they just did this and this because being light skinned was trending, and they ended up many of them attracted men who are attracted to light skinned women and had a kid with them and then went on about their business. See, when you become what a man wants physically, all he's going to do is pursue you physically. Once he's conquered you physically, you're just another notch on his belt. Junior is just a byproduct of that notch. Back in my day, they felt like they needed to prove that old Tyrone over there is the daddy of my baby, even though Tyrone ain't trying to be in a relationship with me. So I'm gonna name her Tyronia or Tyronisha. Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm going to give her some name that align with his name. Jack her up for the rest of her life. Make sure she is unemployed and it's hard for her to get a job because of her name. Because I was too busy trying to tell the whole wide world that that's his kid. Because he didn't claim me. Tyrannia. That's what happened in my day. I'm saying the BBL trend, that's what's happening in this day. In the years to come, it won't be trending. The women will be on to something else. They'll be on to something else. They'll find something else. They'll find some place to drill another hole. Yeah, it'll be like you got a hole in your leg. I can satisfy him with my kneecaps. What have you? It's gonna be something else stupid. I'm saying, but none of that stuff works. It only attracts men who are led by their flesh. And if you're in a relationship with a man and he's not happy with you physically, stop trying to fix yourself for him. Go fix yourself mentally, because you attracted him because you were not healthy mentally. You attracted him because you're not healthy mentally. The men that are attracted to me, the mental side of me, are not the men that were attracted to me when I was in the world. They would have passed me by in the world. Because I was seductive in the world. I didn't show off my brain cells in the world because I didn't think that was trending. I felt like you're supposed to hide your brain cells in case they do something stupid, and then you can show them how smart you are, and then they can be sent up their surprise. And by this time, it's too late because you didn't escape out of the cage and got away. The tramp stamp, oh, they're going to put a hole in it this time. The tramp stamp, right, that was trending. That was trending. Yeah, they're going to put a hole in it this time. You know, it's going to be an extra hole. You got a extra VJ on your body. That's going to be trending. They're going to be doing something. Now you got women out here putting tattoos on their bodies and on their necks. I mean, not just on the body, but on their necks. Y'all don't do that. It's a trend. It goes away. Don't do that. If you're thinking about it, don't put no tattoo on your head. Don't put it on your neck. Don't do that. If you already did it, then if you can't get that thing removed, don't fossilize a season that you will eventually grow out of. Don't do that to yourself. Don't fossilize that season. I grew out of this season here where I put scandalous on my arm. I grew out of this season. Consequently, I can't wear tank top. I couldn't wear them. I had to stop wearing them even when I was in the world. When I got out of my scandalous season, I had to stop wearing them. I got tired of dudes meeting me in the gas station when I'm trying to pay for my gas. Talking about something. You scandalous, huh? Talking to me all lustfully. I like a scandalous. You scandalous, huh? Don't fossilize something that's temporary. You may think that you're going to think that way for the rest of your life. You won't. You'll grow out of it. You will heal your way out of it. And if you chase God, God will grow you out of it. He will grow you out of it. All right, I'm going to let y'all go. We've been a little bit away, but not too long. But anyhow, I love y'all. I'll be back probably, I won't say Wednesday. I'll 9 times out of 10 come back on Thursday. So forgive me for tomorrow. I'll likely be back on Thursday or Friday. Come back. We having church on Sunday. Sunday. Is it Sunday? New Year's. Yeah, we have a church. Our New Year's service is going to be at 12 o'clock noon on 4665 Macklin Road. If you want to come to the church, please. Not if you want to. Just I want you to come. Please come. Please come, especially if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area. If you're willing to make a trip, we have our new church location. It is it's a huge church. I think it can seat up to 3,000 people. So it's going to be plenty of room for you. So come on out and be my guest. That's it. That's all I got for y'all for today. I love y'all. Leave your booties alone. That's the point. I need to get carnal with you. Leave your booty alone. Your booty is fine. God created you. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. God created you. And he looked at you and he said, I did a good job. And then the world started messing with your mind and said, you're not good enough. And now you're listening to the world and not listening to him. Listen to him because he know what he did. When he created a masterpiece, He knew what he did in you. And then when he created that masterpiece, any man that doesn't like that masterpiece is not for you anyhow. So stop trying to attract men that you ain't gonna be able to keep. Anyhow, love y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.